constant joint pain. If you're tired of dealing with the discomfort, it may be time to explore some new options. Now, Kara recently talked with the owner of Stem Cell of Atlanta, Dr. Ross Carter. Take a look.
Welcome, Dr. Carter.
Thank you for having me.
I'm thrilled that you're here, and I want to get right into it. Congratulations on becoming the first and only doctor in Georgia with a fellowship in stem cell therapy. Tell us about your training.
Well, I felt it was important to get extensive training. Regenerative medicine and stem cell therapy is really a new field of medicine. So learning specifically about stem cells was important to me so that I could provide the best care for my patients. So I took a year and got all this training, and now I'm considered an expert in this area.
I love that cutting edge technology. You're at the forefront of it. Your practice incorporates a revolutionary practice called the Cellular Regeneration Method.
Correct.
I want you to tell our viewers more about that.
Well, the Cellular Regeneration Method is really where we've combined the best of the regenerative procedures that we've been using for the last half a decade, actually. So what we've done is taken the best regenerative procedures so that we get the best outcomes, which is to eliminate pain, restore range of motion, and do this all without medications or surgery.
Sure, bringing people back to their normal everyday life and everyday function. That's what you strive to do. I love that. Are there different types of regenerative therapies? I was practicing that, but you're the expert.
There are several. You know, let's address the first thing that people think of as embryonic stem cells. That is not a legal procedure and used in the United States. That came about infamous about 15 years ago. So that's not legal. We've never used it, never will. The one that we do utilize is what's called bone marrow aspirate. Basically, we do a minor surgery. We drill into the hip bone. We pull out the bone marrow, and we use those cells for regeneration. The challenge with this procedure is that there can be some downtime. It can be a little uncomfortable, and it's age dependent. So it's not as popular as the newest one, which is the use of umbilical cord tissue. What we do, what happens is when a woman is having an elected C-section, she can donate the tissue to science. Well, these laboratories take this tissue and they process it in a way to make sure that there's no contamination or disease, which is required by the FDA as well as the American Tissue Banking Association. Secondly, what they'll do is once it's approved, they can then process the tissue to remove any cells that would cause a rejection. Because when you use someone else's tissue, there might be that problem. So once they remove the cells, it's called immunoprivileged. So basically, that's the most popular one. And the reason is because there's no surgery. It's a virtually painless procedure. It only takes 10 to 15 minutes, and it gets fantastic results.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm glad that you explained the background on that, because I remember when I had my first child, I got a letter that said, do you want to donate your cord blood or do that? So that is what that is going for. Fascinating. All right. What conditions is this best used for? If somebody is watching right now and they're experiencing what certain symptoms do they need to know about?
The best conditions that we've found over the half decade we've been doing this is knee conditions. Knee conditions such as bone-on-bone arthritis, osteoarthritis, degeneration of the knee, maybe meniscus issue, ACL problems. So knee problems are probably 90% of our practice. Now it works great also on shoulder issues as well as hip pain.
Okay, and talk about how many, is this like one and done? Is it a process of treatments?
Well, most of our patients report fantastic results with really only one treatment. Now, it really is dependent on how bad the condition is and what joints we're working with. But most of our patients report great results with just one treatment.
Sure. I'm sure you're providing a lot of hope for people watching at home right now. So if they are, what is the cost, and does insurance cover any of these procedures?
Very common question. You know, it really depended on how much damage is done and what we're doing. But the average range is from anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000. And that can be a little out of range for some people. So what we do, we've always offered financing that everybody is approved for, because we don't want finances to stand in the way of someone getting better. Right now, the insurance, there's no coverage through the insurances. That's why we offer the financing.
Okay, I love that. And some people may not have heard of this type of medicine. So what should they look for when going about finding a doctor such as yourself?
If you're looking for a provider, I really would suggest the first thing you want to look for somebody that has experience in this area. They need to be a specialist and know what they're doing in this type of therapy. So they have to have experience, and since it's fairly new, they need to make sure that they know what they're doing.
Right.
The second thing is training, specifically in the area of that they're doing. Let's say if it's stem cell therapy, they need to have specific training. Most providers haven't done this type of training. Just because they have a doctor in their name does not mean that they've been trained specifically on this type of procedure. The next thing is testing. They need to be able to test the product. If you're using placental tissue or umbilical cord tissue, you need to have your own in-house testing method, because a lot of the products are not as good as they say they are, or they could be bogus. They need to be able to test the products internally, and most providers don't have the time or the resources to do this type of things. The next thing I would say, they need to be a rehab as well. We actually, we've worked with one of our former patients. His name is Diamond Dallas Page. He's
I've heard of him.
Yes. Well, we actually have a testimonial in a moment from him, and he's developed this amazing rehab program that works really great with our patients. And the other thing that I would say is look out for unrealistic claims. If there's a provider that's saying they cure everything and they fix everything and they have this 95% success rate, it's very unrealistic. I've been in this industry a long time, and you got to be careful of unrealistic claims.
Sure.
But like I was mentioning, the rehab with Diamond Dallas Page, he's actually a patient of ours, and he has a testimony I'd like to show you.
All right, let's take a look at that.
I'm Diamond Dallas Page, former 3-time world champion professional wrestler. You know, being a professional wrestler for so many years, my body's really beat up, but especially on my knees. And I'm really close to, serious bone on bone. But when I heard the results that Dr. Ross Carter was getting with injections into the knee, I was all in, because I wanted to try this. Within 4 days, I was right back to my regular routine. And so far, it's been about 3 weeks, and I'm feeling pretty good.
All right, he looks incredible,
yes.
Dr. Carter. Tell everyone, thank you so much for being such a good patient advocate. We are our best advocates. So ask those questions that you talked about to your provider.
Absolutely.
And for our viewers, I know that you have a special offer.
I do, absolutely. We need to find out if this is right for you. So I would love to talk with you either by phone or in the office. So what we're offering is a free phone or in-office consultation. And basically, if this is something that's right for you, we're going to offer one joint is going to be 10% off the normal price. And if you do 2 or more, it's going to be buy one, get one half off. And we also have, if you come into the office, we're going to give you a free stem cell therapy book. So that way we can find out if all this is right for you.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Carter.
My
Arming
pleasure.
us with knowledge. I so appreciate it. To find out more and to get those awesome offers, head over to their website at stemcellofatlanta.com, or you can give them a call at 770-766-9593.